You ever feel like the price of XRP is stuck? Like somebody out there is controlling the price? A lot of people feel that way. And we're going to go ahead and explore what could possibly be keeping the XRP price where it is. Jake Claver has this video plus an entire thread on this. I wanted to go ahead and talk about this. Let's go ahead and play the video first and better understand what Jake's thought process is here on why the price is sticking around, right? Dark pools.
The rise of dark pools in crypto is a double-edged sword. In the short term, it can hide bullish momentum, suppressing price action, but over the long term, it creates the perfect setup. Invisible accumulation, shrinking supply, and then the dam breaks. And then we have an explosive move to the upside that few people are prepared for. So let's talk about that in today's video and dispel all the myths about dark pools. You might be watching the markets right now thinking, well, why isn't crypto exploding? Even with massive news and adoption, the prices feel stuck. Well, today I'm going to show you why dark pools are the invisible hand suppressing prices right now, and why when it breaks, it's going to trigger one of the biggest explosions we've ever seen. So what is a dark pool? Imagine you're buying $500 million worth of XRP, and you don't want the market to front run you. That's where dark pools come in. Dark pools are private venues where large orders are executed off of a public exchange. It's used by institutions to avoid moving the market and causing FOMO. It's basically invisible buying. Trades are disclosed after they're completed, not during. The smart money doesn't make noise, okay? They accumulate silently. They talk their book. And right now they're using dark pools to do it. Institutions are entering crypto at scale, but they need the privacy and efficiency of these dark pools to do it the way that they want to. X, SFOX, and Kraken have all started offering these services to institutional clients. And then we also have some other interesting things like Ren Protocol, which are providing decentralized versions of these dark pools, which are emerging right now. And these are the players that are coming in. We've got hedge funds, family offices, and even nation states that want to accumulate quietly without moving the price and causing a bunch of people to run in after them. And they want to continue to accumulate at these prices before things actually get kicked off here for utility. Public exchanges aren't going to show you what's going on. In the public market, large buys are visible and they drive the price up substantially. In dark pools, the buying pressure is hidden. Prices stay flat, which is exactly what we're seeing in the market right now. Retail investors don't see the excitement, and there's no FOMO that kicks in, and a bunch of other buying volume come in from other people, retail and institutions included. So XRP could be suppressed significantly right now while they're accumulating heavily on the back end, but the price action looks dead. So retail is going to get upset. There's going to be people that sell. These are the periods in crypto where people, even with high conviction, lose hope and move on to the next thing. But if you can hold on, I think you're going to be surprised by what happens next. There's a lot of stigma and like stuff out there in the market right now where people are upset about dark pools, but I'm going to explain why they're actually going to be really beneficial for the people that can hang out and enjoy the upside. So when they flip the switch, it's going to be a vertical liftoff, and those waiting will be priced out almost instantly, okay? These institutions are silently accumulating. And what that does is it drains liquidity from public exchanges. At some point, demand on the exchanges will exceed the supply, and the market will scramble to reprice itself. There'll be a supply shock. It'll be a sudden 2, 3, 5x move to the upside. No sellers means that price will have to gap up dramatically. And dark pool accumulation is a delayed mechanism that will continue to aggregate and purchase supply without affecting the price on the public exchanges. And then when there's no longer available supply through the dark pools, they'll have to move over here. And that's when you'll see the big move. If you're judging crypto's future by what you see on public exchanges today, you're missing the mark. The real buying is happening in these dark pools. Stay patient, stay positioned. And when the dam breaks, make sure you're not trying to scramble to buy it at $10 when you could have bought it at 50 cents.
All right. Love that. So
The rise of dark pools in crypto.
Love Twitter. All right. So the rise of dark pools in crypto is kind of a double-edged sword. So he's basically everything that he just said in this video is kind of in this thread. I'm going to go ahead and leave a link down to the thread in the bottom of the description here. So if you want to come and read through all this, I just don't want to say everything twice because your time is super important. I did want to take a look at this though. This is pretty juicy. Bitcoin and Ethereum to be excluded from EU crypto regulations. A speech from the Central Bank of Ireland confirms MiCA will not cover all crypto assets, with some of the most well-known crypto assets such as Bitcoin and Ethereum not within the scope of regulation, given that they have no identifiable issuer. Bitcoin and Ether will not be compliant with MiCA regulations. So I wanted to take a look at this document. I put this document and basically what was said here into Perplexity. Here is the document, just so you see that here. Everything's in there. I took what this person said. I said, is this accurate? Yes, this information is accurate. The documents and sources confirm that Bitcoin and Ethereum will be excluded from the scope of the EU markets and crypto or MiCA bill because the lack of the identifiable issuer. Evidence from the documents, the speech by Mary Elizabeth McMahon, Deputy Governor of the Central Bank of Ireland, explicitly states MiCA will not cover all crypto assets, with some of the most well-known crypto assets such as Bitcoin and Ether will not be within the scope of regulation given that they have no identifiable issuer. Talks about the speech here a little bit more. Don't really need to read this too much into you, but I did confirm that this is something that was passed. I did want to take a look at like what assets are going to be looked at. It does say that XRP down here. Let's get to that. Confirmation of news and legal analysis. Multiple reputable crypto news outlets and legal summaries confirm that the Central Bank of Ireland's deputy governor publicly stated Bitcoin and Ethereum are not covered. So this is actually very true. MiCA is structured to regulate crypto assets that have an identifiable issuer or company behind them, which does not apply to all decentralized assets like Bitcoin and Ether. It talks about MiCA is the EU's comprehensive framework for regulating crypto assets, but is also designed to cover tokens with identifiable issuers such as stablecoin or tokens or issued companies like XRP and Ripple. Bitcoin and Ethereum are decentralized networks without a central issuing authority, fall outside of the scope of MiCA. So very, very interesting to see that the EU, this has been in the language of MiCA for quite some time, right? So they've been thinking about this for years. And when they pass this through, it doesn't look like Bitcoin and Ethereum will be added. I don't know how that will, hamper Bitcoin and Ethereum in the EU. I'm sure people will still speculate and buy it. But if we're talking about institutional use cases and banks, looks like XRP is the only one in the top, few tokens that is going to be able to be used. Remember, if you're taking a look at the top several tokens, no Bitcoin and Ether, Tether is not allowed in the European Union because of MiCA's regulation. So what do you have? You have XRP and BNB. I don't know, guys. You tell me what's going to be trusted by central banks in Europe. Is it going to be BNB? Is it going to be Solana? Or is it going to be XRP? I think that's a pretty easy answer for myself. I think it's XRP. Ripple innovation, the partnerships with the software companies means they don't have to partner with banks themselves. XRP and the ecosystem becomes an option for financial institutions. So when we talk about Volante, Temenos, Earthport, Finastra, I don't think people realize how big these institutions are. And so what I wanted to do is I wanted to put all these, names in here and pull up why these are so important so you can be made aware of. And so after it kind of spent out this information, indirect access to thousands of financial institutions. These 4 connections are, allow Ripple and XRP to connect to thousands of different financial institutions globally. By partnering with software companies that already serve thousands of banks and financial institutions, Ripple can integrate its technology, RippleNet, and in some cases XRP, into the existing infrastructure of these providers. This means that any bank or financial institution like Volante, Temenos, Earthport, or Finastra can potentially access Ripple's solutions with minimal friction, making adoption much easier and much faster. Talks about accelerating blockchain and XRP adoption. There are software companies act as intermediaries, allowing Ripple's blockchain solutions and XRP as a bridge asset to become available to a wide array of financial institutions as an option within their existing platforms. This removes the need for Ripples to establish direct relationships with each bank individually. That would slow down the resource-intensive process. It talks about enhancing cross-border payments. Each of these partners specializes in payment processing and banking infrastructure. Volante provides payment and financial messaging solutions, enabling real-time cross-border payments and liquidity management through RippleNet and XRP Ledger. Temenos, its banking suite, used by banks like Flowbank, leverages RippleNet for fast, low-cost international settlements, bringing Ripple's technology to banks and core systems. Earthport, this is the company that Visa bought, also integrates Ripple's system, and now Visa can use Ripple and XRP. Finastra serves over 9,000 financial institutions, including some of the world's largest banks, and the partnership with Ripple allows clients that are using Finastra's ecosystem to use Ripple and XRP. Talks about RippleNet and XRP integration. This is a little bit of what we've talked about already, so I don't really need to repeat myself here. Competitive advantage and innovation. Remember, You don't see, Bitcoin, Ethereum being thought of to be used by these payment companies and these financial institutions to settle transactions. Some Ethereum is going to be used, I would imagine, for the tokenization of financial products and assets and funds and these types of things. But when you're talking about XRP, I mean, there's just a huge use case there. This is about Interledger protocol. I did play a little bit about this. This is kind of speaking to a larger solution that XRP and Ripple is able to solve, especially with Interledger protocol, connecting all of these different blockchains together, or these international payment systems on one unified ledger. Let me go ahead and play this for you.
Our technology in a way that really fits the problem of cross-border payments liquidity very, very well. So for the cross-border payment challenge, we've created an open internet model. We call the idea Interledger. So Interledger, like the internet, supports our Ripple technology globally. And that model does not require a single universal common blockchain. It requires a very open blockchain interconnectivity. And that means that the volume is theoretically infinite. The internet never runs out of capacity. Elements do, but the internet still works because it's inherently decentralized. So Ripple is the same. So we have a decentralized model which is infinitely scalable. Supporting that, we have our liquidity proposition, which uses XRP, and that's a classic blockchain. But XRP was designed from the outset for transacting. So unlike the likes of Bitcoin, which is very slow and slows down as you continue to build on volume, the XRP model is very, very, very high speed and very high capacity. So the liquidity part is very adequately served by the XRP model. The wider network we're creating, where if you're really going to create something of value for 7 billion people in the world or 9 billion by 2050.
No, I tend to agree. I think mass adoption doesn't happen with self-custody. There needs to be the right balance of centralization and decentralization. We can't forget centralization makes sense on so many levels. It's convenience, it's scalable, it's more efficient. It's the pure trust factor that when central parties get too much power, too much control, there is a tendency to abuse that over time. And that's not an outlandish statement. That's just a statement of fact. So I agree with Joe, mass adoption will occur over time. Maybe there's a decentralized wallet app technology that allows that scalability. But ultimately, I think if assets like Bitcoin become more mainstream currencies, I'd probably be more inclined to expect to see it pop up in your internet banking as another line item next to your currency account. At the end of the day, the current financial system transacts on IOUs. It doesn't transact real value. Tap and go with your credit card to buy your coffee. It's convenient, right? Whether I settle my credit card bill at the end of the month in US dollars, Bitcoin, rocks, gold, it's irrelevant. It's a single bulk transfer of value at the end of the month.
And we're hoping that value winds up on the XRP ledger. There is this from Subject Views. Ripple mentioned in a new Digital Euro Association report the role of stablecoins in financial sovereignty. It talks about Palau stablecoin was highlighted as a government-led stablecoin initiative. They also showcased how it was built on the XRP ledger. Ripple and Boston Consulting Group paper was cited as a source with regards to the benefits of using stablecoins as settlement assets or settlement for tokenization assets or tokenizing assets. The remainder of the report explained while stablecoins are revolutionizing global finance by enabling faster cross-border digital asset transactions, their rapid growth, especially in USD pegged forms, possesses serious challenges to national finance sovereignty, prompting urgent policy responses across monetary, regulatory, payments, and digital domains. I did want to just see if there's any updates on Ripple CBDC partnerships. Doesn't look like there's anything super new. 10 government CBDC partnerships have been disclosed. National Bank of Georgia, Republic of Palau, Montenegro, and Colombia. Digital Euro Association. So, I wouldn't be shocked if you have like the Bank of France, Bank of England, digital euro built on the XRP ledger. Nothing is etched in stone just yet, or it's not made public. But when you take a look at who's been connected into this and who's been working on this for years, Ripple does come to mind. So it'll be interesting to see how the XRP ledger is used in Europe and at what scale. MasterCard CBDC partner program. Remember, Ripple and MasterCard have been working together for quite some time, working with all kinds of different financial institutions and banks. Here again are those, announcements. Nothing new as of this MasterCard announcement, November 2024. Ripple has been very silent around central bank digital currency. And I think they have a reason to be. This is Scott Bassett. This is an older clip from, a few months ago, but this is why Ripple was being very hush-hush about CBDCs.
Sir, we believe that digital assets belong in the private sector. And my personal view is that having a central bank digital currency is a sign of weakness, not strength, because really the reason, if there is a reserve, say a reserve manager or a foreign central bank holds US dollars, then there is a wide variety of US assets they can invest in. But you would create a central bank digital currency just for ease of use because there are no good choices for underlying assets.
And so you're saying you would not be in favor of the Federal Reserve?
So in the next 3.5 years that Trump is in office, you are not going to see a CBDC in America. Maybe they'll start using RLUSD, or maybe they'll decide to use, that would get a little interesting, right? If, World Liberty Financial or, one of Trump's son's companies launches a stablecoin and then they use that. Who knows what can happen? I wouldn't say it can happen, but RLUSD or Circle would probably be the best choices for that, but who knows what these guys are going to decide to do. Germany's DZ Bank chooses Ripple. We've talked about this for quite some time, why this is a big deal. DZ Bank, Germany's second largest bank, central institution for 700 cooperative banks. So basically, this bank in Germany is the second largest in the entire country, and 700 other banks bank with DZ Bank. And that is, in fact, a Ripple customer, Ripple-powered digital asset custody platform. This marks the first scale institutional rollout of Ripple's custody technology in the European banking sector. So Europe is already comfortable, right? The second largest bank in Germany is running on Ripple's technology. What else is going to be announced over the next 6 to 12 months? I know we don't have price appreciation today, right now, but if you've come to my chats over the past few months, I told you that the crypto market slows down in the summer. This shouldn't be a shock to you. There's going to be better times there's going to be times ahead that you might be able to get XRP and other assets at a lower price. And I think we're kind of in one of those areas right now where people are going to have more opportunity. Of course, talk to a financial advisor or anybody you talk to when you're buying crypto assets. We don't really need to get into this too much. It is just, second largest bank we talked about, acts as a holding company for a group including major insurance and asset managers, real estate, consumer finance businesses. Huge, maintains international network with branches and representative offices in key global financial centers and correspondent banking relationships in 150 countries. Come on. You don't see Bitcoin or Ethereum being used to this scale with financial institutions, in my personal opinion. There might be some stuff that I just don't know with Ethereum, but let me know what you think, guys. A lot of really cool things happening right now in the XRP space. I've always been a fan, and I'm always will be. And I'll bring you this news every time I get it. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Crypto Sensei. Have a wonderful weekend. Aloha. Nothing in this video should be taken as financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. I am not a financial advisor. Please seek financial advice if you need it.